Hey guys, it's me from the channel. I usually try to have a snack before I work out, just because I do and want to get lightheaded during my workouts. This is one of my favorite meals to have. It's super simple, very quick and easy. It's very versatile. When it comes to creating a calorie deficit and losing body fat, everyone thinks that you need to restrict all of your calories as low as possible. There are many different ways that you can get the same amount of calories. You could have 2 meals that are 400 calories, or you could have 4 meals that are 200 calories. If it was helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. And I'll see you guys soon. When you reduce the number of times that you eat in a day, you're probably going to find that you have less hunger and cravings, and you're going to have an easier time sticking to your diet. Now this can work, but it's not sustainable long term, and you're probably going to rebound back those fat gains once you stop dieting. Instead, what I recommend doing is balancing your meals between protein, carbs, and fats. When you eat a meal that has a good balance of all 3 macronutrients, you're going to feel fuller for longer and you're not going to be hungry all of the time. We already went over the importance of upping your protein intake, so make sure that you are hitting enough protein. Carbs, you should choose mostly filling carbohydrates. Filling carbs are carbohydrates that are higher in fiber. These are carbohydrates like sweet potatoes, brown rice, oats, quinoa, fruits and vegetables. Now you can still have other types of carbs like bread and cereal, but I would save these for times where you're going to be extra active, or maybe you're just not craving those filling carbs. Fats are going to help you feel fuller for longer, and they also going to satisfy you when you eat a meal that contains fat. When you eat a meal that doesn't contain any fat, you're likely to finish that meal. And then maybe 10 minutes later, you're hungry again because our bodies need fat to stay full. So if you're having this meal, you can always switch out the vegetable portion for something else that you like. But I've had about 5 ounces of chicken breast. It's going to give me around 165 calories and 30 grams of protein. If you're craving ice cream, try having a low-calorie ice cream alternative. If you're craving chips, try having a bag of baked tortilla chips. If you're craving cookies, you can try to find a recipe that is a little bit healthier and lower calorie. I have steamed broccoli. So I just steamed about 1 cup of broccoli. And for that, I got around 55 calories and 3 grams of fiber. Now I do like to add a little bit of butter to my broccoli, just because I love butter so much. That's going to give me another 55 calories and 6 grams of fat. Another way that you can have this meal is, instead of steaming your broccoli, you can actually roast it. If you do roast it, I recommend that you add in a tablespoon of olive oil, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. That is going to give you around 142 calories, 1 gram of protein, and 16 grams of fat. So I think both ways are great. It just depends on what you're in the mood for. Overall, this meal is going to be about 272 calories, 33 grams of protein, and 22 grams of fat. And this really just gives me a little bit of energy. I have grabbed one of my favorite rice cakes. So this one has 60 calories, 1 gram of protein, and 3 grams of fat. I have topped it with a tablespoon of peanut butter. So this is going to give me another 90 calories, another 3 grams of protein, and 7 grams of fat. On top of the peanut butter, I have added a few blueberries. I could have done raspberries. I could have done any other type of berry. But I had a few blueberries laying around, and I wanted to use them up. I'm going to sprinkle on top a little bit of sea salt. Sometimes you don't realize how much sodium you're actually losing through sweat. So I like to add a little bit of sea salt on top of my food just to replenish that sodium. So overall, this snack is about 180 calories, 4 grams of protein, and 10 grams of fat. So this morning, I am having an egg white omelet. So I'm adding about 2 tablespoons of cheddar cheese. I feel like that's not sustainable long term. I've added 2 strips of bacon to my omelet. If you guys are wondering how I make my bacon so crispy, I actually do cook them in olive oil. I think it makes them crispier. And I also think that it adds a little bit more flavor. I've added in 1/2 of a bell pepper. I've also added in 1/2 of an onion. And then finally, I am adding in a tablespoon of salsa. This omelet has about 340 calories, 196 grams of protein, and 21 grams of fat. Sometimes if I'm not feeling that hungry in the morning, in today's video, today I am having one of my favorite lunches, which is tuna salad. It's super quick and easy to make, and it's really tasty. I use an entire can of tuna. But also Greek yogurt does have more protein than regular mayonnaise, so I feel like that's a good swap. I've also added a tablespoon of red onion. This is about 377 calories. Now I'm moving on to a snack. So this is my pre-workout snack. So now that you know what I eat in a day, I want to share a few tips on how to balance your meals for fat loss. Another tip that I have for you guys is to be mindful of your portions. Finally, the last tip that I have for you guys is to try to satisfy your cravings by finding a lower calorie alternative that is similar to whatever you re-craving. Alright guys, I hope that this video was helpful.